Picture this, the busiest port in America, the lifeblood of global trade, grinds to a halt. Imports plummet by 9% in a single month. Why? A jaw-dropping 145% tariff on Chinese goods has sent shockwaves through the economy. Is this the start of a trade war tsunami, or just a ripple in the global supply chain? Buckle up, because today we're diving into the mystery of what's happening at the Port of Los Angeles and what it means for you. The Port of Los Angeles, America's gateway for goods from across the Pacific, just reported a 9% drop in imports for May 2025. The culprit? A massive 145% tariff on Chinese goods introduced by President Donald Trump. But why did this happen, and what does it mean for the economy, businesses, and even the prices you pay at the store? Let's unravel the story together. The Port of Los Angeles is the beating heart of U.S. trade. It's the busiest seaport in the country, handling nearly 10 million 20-foot equivalent units, those massive containers you see on ships every year. From toys and furniture to auto parts for companies like Walmart and Ford, this port is where goods from China, the U.S.'s largest maritime trading partner, flood into the country. In fact, China accounts for nearly 30% of all U.S. seaborne imports. That's huge, but in May 2025, something changed. The port processed just 355,950 containers of imports, a 9% drop compared to May 2024 and a staggering 19% plunge from April 2025. This was the lowest monthly volume in over 2 years. So, what happened? To understand this, we need to rewind to April 9, 2025, when President Trump announced a bombshell, a 145% tariff on a wide range of Chinese goods. This wasn't just a tax hike, it was a trade earthquake. These tariffs, part of Trump's Liberation Day trade policy, hit everything from electronics to clothing, making it wildly expensive to import from China. Businesses didn't just flinch, they slammed on the brakes. Shipments were canceled, orders were put on hold, and the Port of Los Angeles felt the impact almost immediately. But there's more to the story than just numbers. Let's dig into the conflict at the heart of this crisis. So, why did these tariffs cause such chaos? It's simple: cost. A 145% tariff means that for every $100 worth of goods, importers now had to pay $245 in taxes. That's a massive hit to profit margins. Imagine you're a retailer like Walmart relying on affordable Chinese goods to stock your shelves. Suddenly, the toys, clothes, and electronics you import are nearly 2.5 times more expensive. What do? You either pass those costs to consumers, raising prices, or you stop importing altogether. According to Eugene Soroka, the executive director of the Port of Los Angeles, importers chose the latter. He said, and I quote, "Importers slammed on the brakes in May when the full impact of the 145% tariffs began to materialize. Companies didn't just pause, they panicked. And it wasn't just Los Angeles. Nearby Long Beach, another major port, saw imports from China drop by a staggering 31.6%. Across the West Coast, ports like Seattle and Tacoma reported declines of 17.3% and 39.4%, respectively. But here's where it gets murky. Not everyone agrees on what's at stake. On one side, the Trump administration argues these tariffs protect American jobs and reduce reliance on China. They point to the trade deficit $419 billion in 2024, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, as proof that the U.S. needs to level the playing field. On the other side, businesses and economists warn that these tariffs could backfire, raising prices for consumers and disrupting supply chains. Who's right? Let's break it down with some hard evidence. To get to the bottom of this, let's look at the data. According to Descartes Datamine, a supply chain analytics firm, U.S. seaborne imports from China dropped 28.5% year-over-year in May 2025, the sharpest decline since the pandemic. This wasn't just a blip. The report highlighted that West Coast ports, which handle the lion's share of Chinese goods, bore the brunt of the slowdown. Long Beach saw a 31.6% drop in Chinese imports, while Los Angeles was down 29.9% from April to May. Why such a drastic fall? It's not just the tariffs. Importers were already front-loading shipments in early 2025 to beat the tariff deadline, which led to a surge in April. But when the 145% tariffs hit, many companies simply couldn't afford to keep importing at the same pace. Add to that the expiration of the de minimis exemption on May 2nd, which allowed low-value shipments to enter the U.S. duty-free. That change hit e-commerce giants like Amazon hard as they rely on small, frequent shipments from China. But there's a twist. In late May, the US and China struck a 90-day tariff truce, lowering duties on many Chinese goods from 145% to 30%. This was a lifeline for importers, but it didn't spark the cargo boom some expected. Why? Because 30% tariffs are still a hefty burden, and consumer demand is shaky. Retailers like Lululemon are reporting growing inventories as sales slow, forcing them to import selectively to avoid discounts on excess stock. Industry experts are divided. The National Retail Federation predicts a modest 3.7% rise in U.S. port imports for the first half of 2025, thanks to the tariff truce. But Port of Los Angeles' Gene Soroka isn't optimistic. He warned, "I expect overall cargo flow to remain modest for the balance of 2025, citing volatile consumer demand and the lingering 30% tariffs." So where do we go from here? The 90-day tariff truce gives businesses a breather, but it's a band-aid on a much bigger wound. Will importers rush to restock before the July 9th deadline? Or will they hold back, wary of more uncertainty? And what about the bigger question? Can the US and China find a lasting solution, or are we headed for a new era of trade wars? One thing's clear. The Port of Los Angeles is a canary in the coal mine for global trade. Its struggles signal challenges ahead for businesses, consumers, and the global economy. So, tell me, Business Basics viewers, what do you think? Are tariffs a bold move to protect American interests, or a risky gamble that could cost us all? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more stories that shape your world. And I'll see you in the next one.